Welcome to OG55 Live Holiday Edition. We got Christmas in just a couple of days. We thought we'd do a cool little Christmas holiday stream for all of y'all tonight. I got the Italiano looking very Top Gun tonight, Mr. Maverick here in the house. Let's get it. What is happening, everybody? Welcome to a holiday edition of OG55 Live. We got Christmas in a few days, but whatever holiday you celebrate, welcome to the show. George, how are you today, sir?
Doing good, not too bad. I definitely in the holiday mood, so I thought I'd get a little snazzed up today. Put on my Maverick sunglasses, slick my hair back, show a little chest hair. Why not?
You know? Yeah, or a lot of chest hair. Either way, right? Mr. Italiano, where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And, of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There it is. We got Mr. Tones Poppy in the house. Hey, cuties. What's up, cutie? We love you, Tones.
What's up, Poppy?
We love you, Mr. Poppy. And he says here, chest hair slick back too. you put some hair gel on those bad boys, George?
Yeah, it's well, not hair gel, but sometimes I have to take a comb to it because it tends to have its own zip code.
Exactly. We got Mr. Lucas Kim in the house, Mr. Webba. We got Abby in the house, and we got Mr. C. Moore Duck and Jesse Adventure. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have a fantastic show lined up for you tonight. Please post any questions that you might have for us in the chat, and we'll try to get to them all. Mr. Matthew Murr, all the way from the UK, sending us 10 euros. Very generous of you, Mr. Murr. We do appreciate you, sir. And thank you for being a member. Also, I do want to say, speaking of members, I'll make this really quick because I don't want to go off too much on the promotional stuff, but for members, we're doing a new thing where every couple of weeks, we're going to ask members to submit a topic idea. Every topic we receive from a member during that period or whatever, during that, call out, basically when we ask, hey, we want topics from members, every topic submitted that we receive, we will make an entire video on your topic. So that's going to be, that's for members. Guaranteed. So that's for members only, but we recently just did it, so that one closed out. So in a week or two, we'll open it up again, and just keep that in mind. If you're a member and you want to have the OG crew do a video on a topic, any topic, it doesn't even really have to be Disney. You know what I'm saying? It can be anything, but just keep that in mind. If you want to become a member, that is one of the perks. Mr. Matthew Murr, 10 euros says, what do you guys think of Polar Express? I think it tackles Christmas from a very interesting angle in that it shows how we all need to somehow rekindle the Christmas spirit as we age. Love the messaging of Polar Express, hate the animation. The animation kind of ruins the whole thing for me. It's very uncanny valley. It's trying to be realistic, but it doesn't quite do it. It feels very creepy and weird to me. If it was a 2D animated film or something like that, or if it was done in the CGI style of Tangled or something, I would have liked the movie a lot more. The animation style for me is just a distraction, and I can't get past it. That's just me personally. But what about you, George?
I do enjoy the movie. I definitely feel like it gives off that very Christmassy holiday spirit kind of vibe. I think as far as the animation goes, I feel like it was during a time where motion capture animation was just starting to come out, and Polar Express was one of the first movies to kind of utilize that kind of technology, because a lot of the actors used the motion capture and performed the scenes on sound stages. So any of the movement, any of the facial expressions you got in real time. As time progressed, you can kind of see how James Cameron adapted to it with Avatar and what have you, and basically it got much better. So you could definitely tell how the starting point with the Polar Express. I will say that it does still give off the nods of how it looks in the book. But I could definitely see what you mean by how like the animation could be a little bit cringy with like the facial expressions and everything. Me personally, I would have loved to see the Polar Express as a live action. I think it would have done very well as a live action film.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think it would have done better just about any other medium. I just that live action stuff doesn't really. I mean, not live action. That stop motion. Yeah, it doesn't really work for me. It's a distraction. You know, live action, hand drawn animation, like traditional CGI animation. Claymation would have been dope. You know what I'm saying? Like that movie James and the Giant Peach. You know what I'm saying? You a big fan of James and the Giant Peach, George?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I was kidding, but yeah, anything would have been better. I just the way that movie looks, it reminds me kind of like why I don't really want to see Snow White. Because Snow White has that weirdness with the dwarves too. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of kills it for me. Googamp32 says here, do you think Pixar should make a Christmas movie that isn't based on one of their existing IPs? Okay, so here is the thing, Googamp. There was not a movie, but there was a Christmas short years ago, Prep and Landing, right, George?
Yep.
Which was very, very cute. I don't know if you've seen it, Googamp. I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, you can check it out. But an entire Christmas movie, I mean, I'm open for it. I mean, if they can go the route of like A Nightmare Before Christmas that that just stands the test of time and is a generational thing, I'd be cool with that. Holiday movies are tough, but would you be okay with that, George? Of Pixar kind of dabbling in like a full length Christmas film, or would you prefer the holiday stuff be kind of relegated to like just shorts and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Christmas movies and holiday movies. They're very classic. I mean, you take a look at like the roster, A Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, even to Polar Express and what have you. But I think when it comes to Disney, I think they should just stick with like shorts and specials, because I feel like if Disney really wants to utilize their IP in the sense, I guess you could have the same argument with Nightmare Before Christmas, but I feel like the IP would be very limited to only just the holiday times after the movie is completed.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue when it comes to the holiday films like that, George. You're right, is that it's kind of only like sellable during the holidays, right?
Yeah,
but it gives the parks more overlay like material to work with. So if Pixar were to make a whole movie based on Christmas, that IP now is something that the parks can use for various overlays in the parks, for forever, so it provides the park something during the holidays. But you're right, it's kind of tough because you can't really market or utilize it that much in the other months of the year. Mr. Trey Porter is in the house. Good evening, gentlemen. Trey, it's always good to see you, brother.
What's up, Trey?
We love you, Trey. Trey's been a supporter of the channel really since I started, so I got a lot of love for Mr. Trey Porter. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and find. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Mr. Dragon Blood. Since it's the end of the year, my movie of the year goes to Godzilla Kong, the new Empire, while the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie places second. Last year, Godzilla -1 and Super Mario's 1 for me. Now, are you going to see Sonic 3, George? Is that on your list?
I do want to see it. I'll probably won't be able to see it until I move out in California, but I will be seeing Mufasa on Christmas Day. Now, I do know that Sonic 3 definitely beat Mufasa this weekend at the box office. It doubled the amount than what Mufasa made, which, I mean, didn't really surprise me. I think, even though it's an original, but I don't think we really had like super high hopes that, this movie was going to do well. A good friend of ours and the channel, Mondo from Five Fires, literally said that everybody in the theater was sleeping when the lights came on.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, this next question kind of ties into that. Gugamp here says, with Mufasa being bested by Sonic 3 and Snow White likely being a flop, do you think this is the beginning of the end for Disney's live action remakes? Unfortunately not, Gugamp, because you're going to have a movie like Lilo and Stitch, which will do very well.
And Moana.
And Moana will likely do very well. So you're going to have these hits and you're going to have these misses, and it's just enough to keep the whole thing going. Unfortunately, believe me, Gugamp, I am with you. I wish they would kind of get rid of the live action remake thing. I'm tired of it. I've been tired of it, but I think they're getting enough hits under their belt with this stuff that they're happy with what they're seeing. So yeah, you're right. Mufasa, Snow White, absolutely. But like we just said, they're going to have a couple wins going forward too. So it's kind of a wash, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now this one, George, is more for you because I've only been to Disney World once. But Trip Johnson here says, if you have to choose between Horizons, the original Journey into Imagination, or Maelstrom to come back to Epcot, which would you choose?
And
which would you choose?
Now, for me, I would probably the original Journey to Imagination with the Dreamfinder, for sure. Horizons is a close second. Horizons is a very close second. But I would prefer to keep Figment. The Imagination Pavilion desperately needs an upgrade, a facelift, if you will. And I feel like the way to move forward with Figment, if you wanted to keep it as an attraction, would be to move backwards and bring the Dreamfinder back. Even if it's not in the original format of how we saw the Dreamfinder, but I feel like the storyline between the Dreamfinder and Figment moved much, much better cohesively.
Okay, fair enough. Cassandra, it's always good to see you, Cassandra. She says, hey, everybody, what is going on, Cassandra? Jesse Adventure, thank you so much for being a member, Jesse. We do appreciate you, sir. What's your favorite city that celebrates the New Year? Example of like Times Square or Seattle New Year's at the Needle. I mean, honestly, New York seems to be the place for New Year's Eve, I think.
Yeah.
I've never done it. I've always wanted to do it. That's like just like New Year's Eve Central, basically. So that seems like a really, really fun city to sort of like, ring in the New Year's, watch the ball drop, the whole thing. So that would kind of be my thing. I've done Disneyland on New Year's Eve quite a few times, and it's cool. As a pass holder, like I don't need to go on a bunch of rides, which is good when you're going on New Year's Eve because you're not going to get on many rides. It's extremely, extremely busy. But I'm a vibe over rides kind of guy anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But the celebrations are pretty fun. I will say, though, DCA, I think, is better for New Year's. You can actually get an alcoholic beverage, or it's more readily available at DCA. It kind of has more of a party vibe. George and I and Abby are actually going to Universal this New Year's Eve and checking out their New Year's Eve festivities for the very first time. You've never done it either, right, George, for Hollywood?
No, first time.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
And I that was actually going to be my answer. I think New York is like the capital central for New Year's Eve, but I'm very curious to see how Universal like handles the event's called Eve. It's just called Eve, but I mean Universal does it up really well. I was very impressed with Grinchmas, and I was very, very much falling in love with HHN. So they got 2 for 2 for me already. So I think Eve is going to really knock it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. No pun intended, right? Knock it out of the park. Mr. Bad Thought Studio Tones Poppy here says, how do you feel about Madame Leota's Somewhere Beyond opening at Disneyland? Okay, so I was at Disneyland the other day with Danny from Five Fires and his own YouTube channel, Just Ask Danny. Great guy. We had a really good time. But we were checking out this gift shop, Tones, and it's gotten better. Initially, people were complaining about it because it looked kind of bland, and it did, but they weren't done yet. When we looked at it this past weekend, they added a lot of weathering to the wood and all that. It looks more weathered. They added some plants, some like themed elements, like little wind chimes and stuff, like on the roofing. I don't know. It looked really good from the outside, or at least a big improvement. The inside, I know Fresh Baked was there, I think today, right? And Disney shared some official photos of the inside as well. Looks beautiful. The inside is absolutely gorgeous. So overall, I give it high marks. I think overall, it's pretty cool. Now, here's the problem. I saw on YouTube, I think it was Dave from Fresh Baked. I saw on his channel, I guess like Disney like ordered that building like pre-made, like it's like it comes in like in a kit. Like you can literally order the exact same building online. There's a website for it. Go to Fresh Baked. It's one of his recent videos, and he actually checks out the website. It's literally the same building. I have an issue when with Imagineering doing that. I would like to think they're a little more purpose driven when it comes to building stuff in the parks, especially something as important as, putting a giant building in between, Haunted Mansion and Tiana's. I would have hoped that it would have been something that they would have came up with on their own. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it was. Okay. I encourage everyone to go check out Fresh Baked after this live show and check out that video because it's really, really interesting. But overall though, despite the fact that it's a pre-designed thing or whatever, I think it looks good. And I think that the themed elements that they've been adding to the outside have improved it, and the inside looks absolutely gorgeous. What say you, Italiano?
I haven't seen it in person yet. Well, let me take that back. I haven't seen the building in person, but I haven't seen the updates to it in person yet. I am glad that they added more of like the withered kind of look to it and added a lot of like artifacts hanging from the building. That's really cool because when I saw it this past trip, it was very, very bland. And it does if that is true with the building, that it's basically like a pop-up shop, literally, that you just build and assemble it. It kind of makes sense because it really does look like that, because when you saw the building just standing as is, it definitely looked like a sore thumb.
Yeah. No, the outside looks better now. It does. I mean, they have improved it. The themed elements they've added to it look really good. A lot of people were initially complaining it looks like a barn. Well, it is. They added some horse theming on the outside where you can kind of like tie your horse down and stuff. So it is a barn. It's supposed to be that. So now real quick, before we get to Theme Park Horizons, because it's kind of on the topic of New Year's Eve, which we just talked about. So I kind of want to hit it right now before we move on. Jesse Adventure here says, you should film a little bit for the members for New Year's Eve. And Cassandra said, will we get footage of the party? So yeah, I think that's a good idea from both Jesse and Cassandra. We will definitely, I'll film it. I'll film footage and I'll put it up for members. I think it's a great idea. I mean, look,
I'll even get some too. Before I have my few drinks.
Yeah, exactly. Now let me get back to where was Theme Park? Oh, here. Was it the Sonic 3 or where did you see that, George?
Animation Courtyard.
Oh, okay. I don't see
It's
that.
up a little bit.
Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay. Thoughts on Animation Courtyard being rethemed to Inside Out? In the new Disney Plus show, Dream Productions, the studio is set up in a way that mimics Animation Courtyard very closely. See, I love this, Horizons. I absolutely love this kind of thinking that I like where your mind is going with this. A lot of people complain about, well, why are they putting the Muppets there? Animation Courtyard is so expendable, but we don't know. And credit to Drew, the Disney dude. When he was on the show a few months ago, he mentioned this as well. We don't know their plan, like beyond this 5 years. Mm-hmm. That courtyard might already be spoken for, and it might be for something like this. And especially since Inside Out 2 has become a massive, massive franchise, even bigger than before with Inside Out 2. I mean, Inside Out 2 changed the game for this franchise. It would not surprise me, Theme Park Horizons, if this is the route they go. Now, I do think that as a franchise, Inside Out works better in Epcot because you have the edutainment. It's educational, but you also have the IP, which appeases the suits in Burbank so they can get that sweet merch money, right? And that novelty drink money, right? I would prefer it in Epcot. I think it's a very Epcot-y kind of franchise, but hey, I'm not gonna turn. I mean, if they find a way to improve this animation Courtyard with a great IP like Inside Out, bring it on. I support it. What say you, George? You like this idea?
It actually really is a very creative, interesting concept, because you would then be utilizing the Inside Out franchise, but you would be utilizing it for a miniseries that actually is doing very well for its startup on Disney Plus. It garnered 5.6 million viewers, which is pretty good. I mean, to the fact of that it's based in the world of Inside Out, but it's not really based off of the main characters of Inside Out. You're still in Riley's mind and what have you, but it's based off of the Dream Productions part when she's sleeping. So, but it does give off that vibe because it is a production studio in Riley's mind, and what a better way to put it than at Hollywood Studios. But I do agree with you in the aspect of an original Inside Out with joy, sadness, and everything. I think an original attraction would go really well in Epcot.
Yeah, it would. Absolutely. Jesse here says, I personally think they're going to save it for Marvel when they eventually get the theme park rights. Yeah, Hollywood Studios is definitely the park for Marvel. So if they can work those rights out, I think that'd be a great park for it. Here is the thing, right? Here is the thing. A lot of people keep saying, I've heard this argument so many times, Jesse, where people say, because I agree with you, I do think they're eventually going to get the Marvel rights. A lot of people though will say, well, they're not going to give up those Marvel rights. It's not as attractive as people think it is for them to just hold on, to cling to these rights as people think it is. Universal can't really do anything with Marvel Superhero Island. Okay, they can't add a new attraction. They can't do anything except beautify and repaint and make the current thing look nice. Okay, they have to maintain the current thing. Their Universal is not going to keep all that land in Islands of Adventure and never have the ability to expand or add anything new to it. Eventually, Universal is going to want to put some franchise in there that they can actually grow and utilize. You know, this is a dead end franchise for them. Okay, now I get it. People love Spider-Man, but let's be honest. Spider-Man is you know, what, from 1999, we're talking 25 plus years ago now, right? Universal has proven they can make quality stuff now. We're seeing it with the Ministry of Magic thing that they're building over there at Epic Universe, the Dark Universe stuff, all the great stuff they've been doing with Wizarding World. It's not like they can't make a hit ride again, okay? I understand people love Spider-Man, but Universal's a hit maker when it comes to attractions. They can do it again and maybe even better. So I'm all for them giving off the rights to Disney, and I'm all for retheming Marvel Superhero Island. George and Slimer were recently at Island of Adventure not too long ago, and they said the place was looking kind of outdated and kind of run down. It needs some TLC, you know, and that Marvel Island does look outdated. It's a very kind of like outdated view of these characters. The kids nowadays, when they look at Marvel, they see it as the MCU. They don't see the comic booky stuff. I mean, that's just the way it is in a lot of ways, you know. But it looks very outdated. I think Universal's very boxed in. I think Universal wants to kind of expand beyond what they can do, and I think they're going to give the rights eventually to Disney. Now, Disney will pay up the nose for those rights. There's no doubt about it. But it's in Universal's best interest as well to get rid of it. But what say you, George? What do you think, brother?
Yeah, for me, Islands of Adventure, really, yeah, the whole entire park needs a complete facelift, from Marvel Superhero Island to Toon Lagoon. I do enjoy Seuss Landing, but again, it definitely needs a lot of TLC. So yeah, why hold on to a franchise when it has to stay the way that it is? You can, as you said, you could make some touch-ups, you know, you could add some paint, you know, but you can't add any further additions to make the land great again. Now, again, will people still utilize it? Yeah, of course. But especially with Epic Universe coming in as like the brand new toy, so to speak, of the Universal parks, how relevant will Islands of Adventure be in its current state? I don't think it's gonna go very well. Universal
is upping, or they're stepping up their franchise game. Okay, they bought DreamWorks not too long ago. There's rumors, who knows if it ever happens, but there's rumors they might even acquire Warner Brothers one day. We'll see if that happens. Who knows? You know, with the new administration coming in, the Trump admin is a little bit more forgiving with these big mergers and acquisitions. I mean, the Disney Fox thing happened under Trump the last time. So don't be shocked if Comcast makes a move for Warner Brothers Studio. Don't be shocked. But even besides that, I mean, Universal has had great deals with for Harry Potter, for Nintendo. Like, they have options. You know what I'm saying? They don't need to rest on the Marvel stuff. I mean, Pokemon is a massive franchise. I mean, anything Nintendo you can put in that spot, and it would be incredibly successful. Then, you know, so it's not like Universal doesn't have any options on the table. They absolutely do. And it's better to put something in there that they can actually play with and change and evolve than some dead end land that they're going to end up paying licensing fees to their biggest competitor. It's not worth it, you guys. It's just not worth it. And I think Universal sees that. And I think eventually they will turn those rights over. Almost certainly. Jay Brad here says, Merry Christmas to the one and only YouTube channel that I've ever had a membership for. Jay Brad, that is extremely humbling. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you. Jay Brad is awesome. He was on the channel, was like last week, I think. It was like about a week ago now.
About a week, I think.
Great conversation with Jay Brad. We want to have him on again. Really, really brilliant guy. We talked a lot about Walt Disney World. So thank you so much, Jay Brad. We appreciate you. Theme Park Horizons. I think there's a way to theme the land around Dream Productions, the studio, but the main e-ticket takes you on the train of thought to Riley's mind where you see the emotions. I love this. This is fantastic stuff, man. And this is the kind of stuff they should be doing, you know? Cassandra Chamberlain here says, do you have any special Christmas traditions that you do with your families, and what are your plans? The only special tradition that we have is we usually have cannolis. I'm Italian, you know what I'm saying? And so is this guy, he's Italian. But every Christmas and even Thanksgiving, we do have cannolis. And I love cannolis. So I don't know if you at home know what a cannoli, I don't know if everyone knows what cannolis are, but they have like a crispy, kind of almost like would you say, George, like a cookie outer shell, almost like a taco shell, right? Yeah. And then on the inside, it's like filled with like cream cheese and stuff. And like, it can be anything. I actually had a cannoli recently that had like chocolate mousse in there, you know, so it can be any kind of filling, but they are really, really good. But we usually have cannolis every Christmas. What about you, Italiano?
I usually enjoy sex underneath the mistletoe.
Oh, there you go, George. There you go. Is that your thing?
Well, I enjoy sex no matter what. So, but anyway, but why not get a little festive with it? But actually, speaking of like holiday desserts, coming from a big Italian family, we usually they're called pizzelles. I don't know if anyone has had those. They're basically like a giant. It's like a giant cookie, but it's in like a wafer form. They're flat. They have like ridges in them. There's different flavors of like vanilla and I don't know how to actually pronounce this. It's either anise or anise. I don't know like how to pronounce it with it. Some people say anise, some people say anise. I usually just say anise, but I don't know if that's really what it is. I actually brought some out to Abby. She really liked the Abby, if you're still in the chat, I can't remember if you like the vanilla or the almond better. But yeah, that's a tradition. If anyone has ever had pizzelles, that's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Mr. Tones Poppy over here having tamales for dinner this year for Christmas. Tones, I'll be over there, brother. Save me a spot at the table. Absolutely. Oh, Cassandra here, stuffing the cannoli. Yeah, there you go, Italiano. You like to stuff the cannolis, bro? Is that your thing? There we go. We got Mr. Avoid Temptation in the house. Triple OG. Tim, it's always good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a good time. Absolutely. And we got Lucas and Disney. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. Don't get smashed too much with alcoholic eggnog, everyone. Have you had that, George, the alcoholic eggnog?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had it.
You've had did it get you smashed?
Not really, but I could usually hold my alcohol. I had the alcoholic eggnog, and it was also pumpkin spice like latte flavor.
Pumpkin spice latte flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You're going white girl. You're going white girl on us, huh? Pumpkin spice. No, that's great. Abby here says vanilla was the best. Was the best. Okay, interesting. And we got. Let me see here. Let me go up a little bit because I think Dragon Blood. He kind of gave us a. Oh yeah, George always comes through. Tones. He always comes through. Give me 1 second, everybody. Here we go. CSRS. How will Disney design lands for the symbol lot when you have to contend with restrictions laid out by the city and the Pixar Place Hotel? Would a Galaxy's Edge / Villains level land be possible to do in that plot? Yeah, absolutely. That piece of land, CSRS, is I believe it's about 25 acres, if I'm not mistaken, 25 or 30 acres. They definitely have the acres to do it. If you're worried about sight lines, they can create and design these lands in certain ways where you're not going to be able to see the hotel from within the land, you know? So I'm not so much worried about that. You can do rock work and various visual tricks to kind of prevent all that, but they can absolutely do that. Now, here's the thing. If they change the name, because Disney's California Adventure, when Pandora moves in, is going to be a little weird, right? So we've been speculating that maybe they're going to change it from Disney's California Adventure to Disney's Cinematic Adventure. Now, if they change it to Disney's Cinematic Adventure, you could theoretically even put Villains Land in the symbol lot because now this whole park is about movies, basically. So that whole thing could be that whole or a big chunk of it could be villains. You know, you can add even Moana at that point, which I know Disney wants to do because Moana is massively successful. You know, so but yeah, it is. I mean, look, there are restrictions, CSRS, but we've seen before with Disney when they want to do something, they're going to do it. Okay, they rerouted the Disneyland Railroad and they shortened the Rivers of America to put Star Wars in Disneyland. So they will absolutely make it happen if they want to make it happen. So
not to mention too, Disney wouldn't go through all that trouble to get through Disneyland Forward. If they couldn't utilize the symbol lot as what they wanted to do it for park expansion.
Exactly.
There are some obstacles and hurdles they'll have to go through, but yeah, Disney doesn't back down from a challenge. They'll find a way.
If they want it done, they'll make it happen. If they're committed to putting that IP in there, believe me, they're going to move heaven and hell to do it. You know, so. Fantastic question, CSRS. Mr. Tech Bear Kev is in the house with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Kev. We appreciate you. Happy holidays. It took 29 minutes for George to go to the dark side. Hope you both enjoy your holidays. Yeah, George is a little under the weather. You got like a cold, right, George?
Yeah, I'm battling a little cold right now. So bear with me, folks, if you see me kind of going on and off camera. But that doesn't stop me from being all horned up for the holidays.
Yeah, exactly. George, he's always got his mind in the gutter. Mr. Remy D with a $20 super chat. So generous of you, Remy. Thank you so much. We do appreciate that. Thank you very much. As a theme park fan of both brands, I would love for Universal to sell back the Marvel rights to Disney so that we can have proper MCU attractions in Orlando and free up the land for new IP. It would build a lot of goodwill. I completely agree with you, Remy. I completely agree with you. It would build up the goodwill 100%. Let's get some real, honestly, look, I'm a huge Disney person. You know that. Okay. Disney has not delivered when it comes to the Marvel attractions that we currently have. They just haven't. Ironically, the cheap retheme Mission Breakout is the most impressive out of the bunch, you know, but nothing they've built like web slingers and all that. I mean, even the stuff that we see overseas, like the Ant-Man dark ride and all that, none of it really.
That's what worries me. Like if they were to bring Marvel into the studios and utilize the animation courtyard, because I want something like done really well. Marvel is like the cinematic universe, like blew everyone by storm with the Avenger films and just even the individuals like with Captain America, Iron Man, what have you. It's just, I don't understand why when it comes to the parks, they're like subpar, but I do agree with you. Mission Breakout, I feel, is the best attraction that was an overlay. So to utilize the land over at Hollywood Studios to Marvel, that's fine, but they better do something impressive to utilize all that land up.
Yeah,
honestly,
but
I'd rather them save it for something else.
Yeah, here's one thing though. I forgot about Cosmic Rewind. It's not my cup of tea, but a lot of people love Cosmic Rewind. So it's probably Mission Breakout and Cosmic is probably the two heavy hitters for Marvel attractions. But it's just, I don't know. I still think for how big the MCU is, they just haven't hit the mark yet. We haven't got a Rise of the Resistance level attraction for the MCU, and it's sad. This franchise deserves a lot better.
It really
Theme Park
does.
Horizons. I'm battling a cold as well, George. Feel better, bro.
Yeah, thanks. You feel better too, Horizons. Yeah, it seems like everybody is catching something. There's like something's in the air, yeah. So hope everyone stays healthy and safe for the holidays for sure.
If I can make a recommendation, and this isn't health advice, I want to make sure it's not health advice. This is what I do, and I haven't gotten sick. I haven't been sick for like 2 years. Bone broth. I don't know what it is about bone broth, but that stuff it'll knock a cold out and it'll prevent a cold, and it seems to be working for me. So try it. You never know. It might work. Or a hot toddy. One of those.
Either one toddy would do. Yeah, that'll knock anything out of you.
Exactly. Exactly. Tim here says Disney had free reign to do whatever they wanted, and web slingers is what they came up with. Tim, yes. Yes. You are absolutely correct with that. It's so incredibly frustrating. You have one of the biggest characters of all time with Spider-Man, and you basically give it a subpar Midway Mania. It's not even as good as Midway Mania. And this is the thing: when you have a character like Spider-Man, what first comes to your mind when you think of Spider-Man? He's going through the city. He's web slinging. He's like this lean, kind of fast character, right? So what does Disney do? They build these clunky, big ass toaster vehicles that like shake and shit when you're going through. It's like the opposite of what I think of when I think of the character of Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? It's the absolute opposite. So I completely agree with you, Tim. They dropped the ball, out of control. Disney, they could absolutely do better. And part of that problem too is that Florida does not have the rights to Marvel, and I think that de-incentivizes Disney to kind of get more ambitious because they can't do the coast to coast thing, the clone thing like they usually can. So hopefully we get those rights back so they can get a little more ambitious. Lucas, oh my God, dude. Jeez Louise, $200 super chat. Lucas, you are way too kind, sir. We do appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Lucas,
Lucas. Yes, seriously. Incredible, amazing. Thank you. This is my gift to the team for the holidays. I like to say that there is no way Universal will keep Marvel, and because the revenue IP for Pokemon, Zelda, Nintendo's franchises, or even anime IP would do much better in Universal's dead attraction land. Anyways, driving to ski resort. Safe travels, Lucas. Again, I'm honestly speechless. Thank you so much for that super chat. Incredibly generous of you. And a happy holiday to you and your family. I want to have Lucas on again, George. We did that really cool video on South Korea a couple of weeks ago, Lucas and I. And then we want to do a part 2, but we want you in that part 2. Absolutely. So we'll do that very, very soon. But yes, happy holidays, Lucas, to you and your family.
Safe travels. Happy holidays, Lucas. Thanks again. You always come through, man. And again, as I said, OG and I always will continue to say we owe you even big time for what you did for us for D23.
D23. Now, keep that on real quick, though, George. I want to kind of address what he's saying here because it kind of expands upon what we were talking about with the potential here for this space, right? This is a dead end for them because they can't do anything with it. And like I said, and what Lucas is saying here, Universal has access to some of these huge IPs. Pokemon is massive. Zelda is massive. Now, I know these two franchises are already kind of rumored. I think our friend Theme Park Wizard has been talking about it and stuff. He has been talking about it for a while now, that it is rumored to come to the Universal parks. Lean into that stuff, Universal. You have Nintendo, one of the biggest brands on the planet. Utilize that stuff. get rid of Marvel. You know, it's the outdated versions of these characters anyway. You know, they can do something incredible in that spot, and I think they should, and put something in there that you can expand upon and grow through the years. You know, and why pay Disney, your biggest competitor, licensing fees and a chunk of that sweet merch money if you don't have to? You know, now the good thing is that the Simpsons deal is running out soon, so we can get rid of these Simpsons lands. You know, what are your thoughts on that, George, in terms of the Simpsons land? I know Hollywood. Well, I think they both, right? The contract for both is actually running out, if I'm not mistaken, because there's one in Florida too, right?
Yeah, because it's all around, I believe, for just the Simpsons in general. And I think Universal is eventually going to want to not have to pay Disney any royalties towards the Simpsons, because anytime, I'm assuming that someone buys any kind of merch, I'm not sure if it goes by food and beverage as well, but like when we were there for Universal, the couple times I was out there, everybody, I don't know what it was, everyone had those Sideshow Bob hair hats.
Yeah, I know.
Hat that looks like Sideshow Bob's hair. I swear every single person had to have one in the park. So when you calculate that and you look at that for each person, that they're probably about, what would you say, like $20?
I would think so. I never checked it out. I wasn't going to get one, but yeah.
But just to say $20 a pop, you know, and then you're paying Universal, but partial of those royalties go to Disney.
Yeah, I would cut the connection as much as you can from Disney, and do the Nintendo stuff or some other IP. And I honestly, I've been kind of rooting for Universal to make a move for Warner Brothers. Because I think for Universal's parks, I think that Warner Brothers library would be a game changer like you wouldn't believe. You know what I'm saying? Our good friend Alia disagrees with me on this particular topic. We talk about it all the time, but respectfully, though, I disagree with her. I think that if Universal were to buy the Warner Brothers IP, it would be a huge game changer for that studio. And they would limit the licensing stuff, because now if they owned Warner Brothers, they wouldn't have to pay a licensing fee for the Harry Potter stuff.
And also, too, just speaking specifically with California, the Warner Brothers studio lot is right down the way from Universal. So they can possibly have like a continuation kind of thing that could lead into the studios.
Well, that's the thing. Yes, Warner Brothers is within visual distance of Universal Studios Hollywood. You can move even more sound stages to the Warner Brothers lot, theoretically, and free up more theme park space for Universal Hollywood. So that's another big plus for acquiring Warner Brothers. So Cassandra here says, money drop for Lucas. Absolutely. Here we go.
Give me the drop, some money, dropping on my money, drop some money.
There it is. And Sam Chat, $5 super chat from Sam Chat. And Sam Chat was actually on the channel just the other day. We were talking about everything. We talked about the Disneyland 70th, the Rivers of America going away in Florida. We talked about entertainment, just about everything. Sam is awesome. We want to have him on again very, very soon. Sam here says, happy holidays, OG crew. So thankful for this amazing community. I love you all. And we love you, Sam Chat. And we're very thankful for you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll have you back on very, very soon, brother. Theme Park Horizons says, I love how unknown the Disney theme park industry is. Who knows if Elio and or Hoppers becomes a smash hit, and because of that, it warrants a theme park attraction that we never would have thought of. Yeah, exactly. These are original ideas from Pixar, and both of them look very interesting. Like we saw some footage at D23. I know Elio, there's been some stuff released to the public now, but if both of those franchises are a hit, and that could open the door to a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
He continues, or Theme Park Horizons continues. Everyone always talks about a Moana ride past Pirates at Magic Kingdom. How about a mini Polynesian land past Pirates that has a Moana ride, a flat ride, and a Lilo and Stitch? Oh man, this is a great idea. I love this because Disney has really kind of done the Lilo and Stitch thing from the
Tomorrowland, the
alien angle. if you leaned into this kind of like Polynesian Hawaiian thing, that would be dope. I love this idea, Horizons. Would you be okay with this in Magic Kingdom, George?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was always a fan that because they tried it so many times, like with the Stitch's Great Escape, and it's like, okay, you have the alien version of Stitch in space, but everyone kind of fell in love with that like Hawaiian Stitch,
Yes.
the fact he met Lilo, and that would have been the vibe that I would have gone once he landed in Earth in Hawaii. And yeah, I'm all for that. I think that would work out much better because they also have a big presence of Stitch in Alani because of that.
Right. And here's the other thing too. We talked about live action remakes and stuff. The one live action that's probably going to make a lot of money is Lilo and Stitch. That thing looks pretty good, and Stitch looks adorable. I can see them doing a big Lilo and Stitch push after that movie when that movie, which I think it will be, becomes a hit. So excellent idea, Horizons. Excellent idea. And if you were to change Disney California Adventure to Disney's Cinematic Adventure, you can even have a Polynesian land like that at DCA, which would be awesome. Cassandra here says, you threw me for a loop with the no glasses in that video. Yeah, there's actually a few videos with no glasses. I recently got contacts, Cassandra. Here's the backstory behind this, okay? I recently got contacts because when I go see 3D movies or I go to the theme parks, the 3D glasses, I don't like to put them over my glasses and scratch them and things like that. So I ended up going to the eye doctor, get my annual exam, and I'm like, I opted for contacts. I used to wear contacts all the time, and then I started wearing glasses. Well, anyway, long story short, I was at the parks this weekend, and I got back from the parks, and I still have my contacts in. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just rock my contacts in the video, and I did. And so I think there's like 2 or 3 videos where I just have contacts in, and everyone's been tripping out. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I don't even recognize you, OG." Like, what happened?
I didn't. Like when you came to Abby's birthday party, I shook your hand because I thought you were like one of her relatives, like husbands or something. Like I had to do like a double look, and I'm like, "Oh, it's OG."
Yeah, that's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. CSRS here says, if Avatar takes the backlot portion of Hollywoodland and Avengers Campus can take over the Hyperion, and AB, what's AB? Why am I tripping? And AB would the attractions be more catch-all like Infinity Defense or themed to specific heroes? I don't know what AB is, CSRS.
AB.
Hollywoodland and Avengers Campus take over the Hyperion and animation building. Okay. Well, honestly, I think thank you, CSRS. I think one of the issues with, I mentioned this in a video recently actually too, was the theming of Avengers Campus. Having Avengers in the name, I think was a decision of the moment because the Avengers were like a huge thing when that whole conversation was happening in the company. Not that the Avengers are not popular still, but I do think that right now it would have been cooler to sort of have just an overall superhero land where you can have things outside of the Avengers, you know what I'm saying? So if they expand into the animation building in the Hyperion, I hope they kind of break away from that Avengers kind of theme, the Avengers Campus kind of thing, and sort of extend it out with a generalized Marvel superhero thing. And they can put like X-Men in there. Dude, how dope would an X-Men like e-ticket be? You put X-Men, you can do Fantastic Four. I mean, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, I would kind of go that route. I think they kind of box themselves in a little bit with Avengers Campus. But what say you, George?
I agree. I feel like when they title something like Avengers, you're just focused on the Avengers, but there's so much more involved in MCU. Great examples that you had given. X-Men is wildly popular. You could do multiple things with X-Men because there's many characters involved with that part of the franchise. Definitely Fantastic Four. I think if they go the route of the new Fantastic Four movie, the way that it looks, I think that would be much better if they moved it over to Tomorrowland, whatever they would do with Fantastic Four. Maybe utilize the theater that used to hold Captain EO. That's right next to like the entranceway into Space Mountain. They could do something in there like maybe like a Fantastic Four kind of special effects 3D show or something.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That Fantastic Four would fit beautifully in Tomorrowland if they went all in on like this retro future. It would just be perfect. Mr. Tones Poppy here from Bad Thought Studios says, what do you think about Disney's Food and Wine Festival next year in February? And is it something they do every year? Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much every year. I've done it. I love it. I love the festivals at DCA. I think they're fantastic. What about you, Italiano?
Yeah, I actually did food and wine before at DCA. I've also done food and wine down at Epcot, and I feel that DCA definitely gives like that vibe with the same as like Epcot, like where you just kind of like, well, with Epcot you drink around the world. Yeah, it's very popular. I mean, it kind of backs up. I know Ebba will probably say, because he said this before, it kind of gets a little monotonous because of like the pathways get so crowded and backed up. But if Disney, sees the opportunity to make money, they're going to do it. And yeah, I mean, I would definitely do food and wine again. I can't, I don't know the actual dates of it, but I would definitely love to do food and wine again. Let's see here. Oh, there we go.
Tim here says, sorry about that, everybody. I had to run out for a second. Tim here says, bring back rocket rods and theme it to Fantastic Car. That would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. The rocket rods were a pretty cool little thing in Tomorrowland. I wish they just gave it a proper budget. One of the issues, Tim, I don't know if you ever got a chance to check it out. I only rode it like 2 or 3 times. I think it was only around for like a year. One of the issues I think that kind of brought the whole thing down, so to speak, is that they didn't bank the turns. The People Mover was a slow attraction. So the People Mover track was kind of flat all the way around. Whereas if usually when you have a coaster or something of high speed, you usually bank those turns, like you see like on Radiator Springs Racers and what have you. If they would have banked those turns so you were to maintain that speed through the entire duration of the attraction, it would have been really, really cool. The problem is that you only got fast during the straightaways. So just when you were starting to enjoy the speed and it was getting fun, you would slow down to go around the turns. It was just a buzzkill, So I don't know. Now, George, you definitely didn't ride this.
No,
right?
I didn't get a chance to try rocket rods, but yeah, what you're describing, that would drive me nuts. That's just like, you're in the bed making love and you're just about to finish and then you get an interruption and you have to be forced to stop. Oh,
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. It was not the greatest. And that's why it only lasted a year, unfortunately. And plus some of the theming elements within the tunnels and stuff, like they literally, Tim, they would like throw in like almost like Christmas lights from like Home Depot in there and like some of these tunnels. It looks really, really cheap. Really, really cheap. Dragon Blood here. Now, Dragon Blood, you have quite a few. You have quite a lengthy thread, but I want to address this because I think this is actually really, really cool. Godzilla and Kong e-ticket for Epic Universe. It won't have a land, but basically a pavilion that would be a military outpost related to Monarch. See, I like this idea. Actually, I think this would be kind of cool to have a Godzilla versus Kong e-ticket for Epic. You can't get more epic than that. Would you be down for this, George? I think this would be kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be really cool. To me, that is a franchise or a film that is considered epic. And there are certain aspects of Epic Universe I'm kind of like scratching my head at saying, okay, well, that's something that they could have actually put in Islands of Adventure. When you say Epic Universe, I would do something kind of like, Godzilla and King Kong and Lord of the Rings and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great idea, Dragon Blood, for maybe some kind of expansion for Epic. I think that'd be really, really cool. And if they get those Warner Brothers rights, if they buy Warner Brothers, they can do Lord of the Rings, which would be amazing for Epic Universe. Absolutely amazing. Brian here says, do you think they should bring the Haunted Mansion bar on the Disney Treasure into the parks? It looks class. Oh yeah. I'm not one of those people. there's a lot of fans out there that, they're against more alcohol. I used to drink. I don't anymore. I've quit. I quit like almost a year ago now. But like, I think the bars are really fun, and I think Disney handles the drinking stuff well. The cast members do a good job. I would love to see it. Actually, the Haunted Mansion bar would actually be kind of perfect for even like something like Downtown Disney. So yeah, I say bring it on.
I would love to see like a full-on restaurant.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome too. Yeah, absolutely. Now, would you put it in the parks though, or would you put it in Downtown Disney or Disney Springs, or how would you do it?
You could do it in Downtown Disney, but I would also, speaking just of Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, I would actually do it closer, like adjacent to the attraction itself, and that way it can kind of lean into moving into the villain section.
Right. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, you guys got Villains Land coming, so that'd be perfect. Horizons here says, did you see that Scott Gustin tweeted the cast member backstage parking behind Mission Breakout is closing on January 12th? This, to me, seems like the most concrete info that work will actually start soon. I did see that. That's awesome. So they're finally, making moves. We finally have as what Damaro would say, shovels in dirt, right? We're starting to see that with the Avengers Campus stuff, which is great news. Avengers Campus needs it 1,000%. It's a really, really weak land. It needs that e-ticket. It should have opened with the e-ticket, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, that's fantastic news, Horizons. Mr. C. Moore Duck is in the house. Mr. Duck, always good to see you, brother. Unless Nintendo says no, you got the only Kong you need. There you go. Donkey Kong, absolutely. CSRS here. If Universal got Warner Brothers, would Warner Brothers become like Fox with reduced film output, or would it stay the same? Honestly, yeah, it would probably get a reduced film output, unfortunately. And one of the sad realities, CSRS, of these big mega mergers are the people that lose their jobs and things like that. That's the kind of stuff that's heartbreaking and that really, really sucks, Yeah, you would probably see it would be very similar to Fox. Absolutely. So unfortunately, yes, you would see less. You would probably see a lot of layoffs because there's a lot of overlap with a lot of these companies, and they're not going to need all those folks, doing the same thing, So yeah, unfortunately. Dragon Blood here says, I really want to be an Imagineer or a Universal creative so I can share my ideas and make them come to life. Dragon Blood, make it happen, brother. Make it happen. You can do it, dude.
Do it.
Absolutely. You got some great stuff, so stay on it. Let me see here. Tim says, Avengers Campus should have opened with the e-ticket. Amen. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, Tim. I mean, it's insane to me it didn't. It's insane to me that Disney thought it was a good idea to open that shit with web slingers. Well, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. This is their biggest IP. I don't get it. I mean,
Spider-Man is, and it's not like they're utilizing an IP that is kind of iffy. Spider-Man was a winner from the very beginning. It was just how they utilized him.
Oh, the execution was terrible.
Y'all were seeing the swinging pendulum kind of ride and what have you. They could have done so much, and it was a letdown for web slingers.
Well, even the thing they're doing right now with the Stark Flight Lab with the Kuka arm.
Yeah.
You could have made that a Spider-Man thing.
That would have been more good for Spider-Man.
Yeah. Like, you could have had you go through the city, and you could have, like, you're swinging from building to building and going through like these big sets. That would have been cool. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they really dropped the ball with that, Tim. Unfortunately, it kind of fell at, like, this Avengers Campus thing was like right in the middle of like Bob Chapek and the pandemic. And it just got screwed over, unfortunately. Lucas and Disney here says, Star Fox Shooter Thrill Ride would be a big call-out challenger against Disney for Buzz Lightyear and also Smuggler's Run. Oh, that's a good idea. I like that. I was a huge Star Fox guy when I was a kid. I used to love that game. Let me see here. CSRS says, in their defense, there were some issues they ran into with the Quinjet e-ticket in its development. Yeah, I did hear that, CSRS. I heard that it was due to capacity issues, right? Like, it wasn't.
And technically, CSRS, you kind of left out a word. It's in their Infinity defense.
Right, and they're Infinity Defense. Yeah, I still think that sounds like a deodorant, but okay. Well,
Yeah, it does.
Infinity Defense.
Yeah.
J Brad, my problem with web slingers is that you're shooting web at little robots instead of actual bad guys. Yeah, that's a problem. It's also a problem that I have no idea which web is mine. I'm shooting these webs basically blindly. I have no idea. I'm just doing this. I can't tell which web is what. One of the things I love about Midway Mania is that when I shoot my dart or whatever it is, I know that's my dart going towards that target.
It's like having one big gigantic orgy. You don't know whose is what.
Yeah, right. You don't know what's shooting at what. I have no idea what I'm shooting at when it comes to web slingers. It's all guessing, and yeah. Absolutely. And Abby here agrees. It should have been against actual bad guys. Come on, Disney.
Come on, Disney.
Come on. And J Brad continues. They should have Star Fox at Super Nintendo Land. Yeah, they should. That would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. And Cassandra liked your joke, George. LOL. Absolutely. We got Theme Park Horizons. What are the rides you think objectively need refurbishment the most at U.S. parks? For me, it's Buzz and Spaceship Earth. Well, I'm a Californian, Horizons. So for me, it's Incredicoaster. That thing, the Incredicoaster is looking so worn out, and they should have actually done it. They should have given it a proper refurb when they rethemed it to the Incredicoaster, but they never did. The paint job on Incredicoaster is looking so shoddy, so rusted. Yeah, Incredicoaster needs major work. Tim here says, the only thing I got from web slingers were tired arms. Yeah, exactly. Well,
I had the same thing happen to me, but then I met Abby and that just went away.
That went away? Okay. Well, tell Tim your story, George, about the family next to you. About the...
Oh, yeah. So yeah, Tim, here's an easy way to actually have not as sore muscles and arms, but a family I rode web slingers with because I was just riding by myself, and none of them spoke English. So, and it was their first time riding, so they didn't know what to expect, what to do, what have you. So, when we're on the ride starts, and I'm doing my thing, doing my web slinging and everything. I looked down next to me, and there was 3 other people. They're all literally have their arms out and they're going like this. Just on the road, they're all going like this, and they're talking, and I don't know what they were saying because I can't understand them. But I'm trying to show them, hey, it's like this. But no, they didn't get it. I was the only one that got any points for the whole entire thing.
That's hilarious.
4 fingers just weren't enough.
There you go. Absolutely. Theme Park Casual in the house. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Casual. I hope you are spending the holiday with friends and family and loved ones. Very, very Merry Christmas to you, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. C. Moore Duck here says, what movies in 2025 are you guys looking forward to? There's a lot, Seymour. I'm curious about that live action How to Train Your Dragon, to be honest with you. That looks pretty good in my opinion. Yeah, Seymour, Fantastic Four. I was just going to say that. I think that movie looks awesome. I love that retro future, that 1960s vision of the future. Really cool stuff. Superman comes out in 2025. Now that's interesting. That's going to be kind of a fresh start for DC. I'm very curious about that one as well. So, yeah, those are just a handful. What about you, George?
Remy D actually got mine. Avatar 3, Fire and Ash.
Okay.
Very curious about, because anything from James Cameron, however people think about the Avatar films, I enjoy them. I mean, I preferred Way of Water over the original, but I still like the original. So I'm very curious to see how Cameron ups his game each time he does an Avatar film.
Yeah. Now that's the thing. I mean, I'll never bet against Cameron. Don't ever bet against James Cameron. This guy, everyone was doubting, Avatar's not going to make any money, or the second one wasn't going to make any money. The thing made like $2 billion. I've just, whatever that guy touches, it turns to gold pretty much. And I'm not like a huge Avatar guy myself. I mean, I like it. I liked Way of Water a lot more than the first one. I did. But James Cameron is just a beast, man. Absolute beast. Theme Park Horizons, favorite movie scores. Oh gosh, I have so many.
Anything of John Williams, literally.
Well, pretty much. I mean, that guy. Speaking of like the golden touch, John Williams. But I like for some deep cut stuff. Horizons, The Rocketeer is one of my favorites. I love the score for Rocketeer. I love the score for Rescuers Down Under. Those are a couple to name a few. Those are some like more deep cutty ones. But what about you, George?
For me, like specifically, I would have to go with Rocky, the original Rocky. I love the score in that.
Okay.
That was a good one of mine. It's very kind of subtle, but also The Godfather.
Okay.
The score of The Godfather. Got to stay on brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. There you go, George. Mr. C. Duck. Superman will be released 2 weeks earlier than Fantastic Four. DC versus Marvel. Or can we have our cake and eat it as well? Yeah, we love our cake, Mr. Duck. 2 weeks, huh? See, Superman's a biggie. That's a biggie. That's gonna be I think that might be a problem for Marvel because Superman.
It could be if the story is right, because I've seen a lot of Superman films that did okay, but not.
You have. But the difference here is that James Gunn, he does usually a pretty good product. Not every time. I mean, he's human being, but I don't know. I wouldn't bet against him.
Christopher Nolan, then I would bank on it.
Yeah.
Which I'm very curious because I think what's the movie that he just released that he's going to be making? It's the Christopher Nolan.
Sure.
I forget the name of it. They released. Anyone in the chat, if you know the name of the movie.
Well, Christopher Nolan in and of himself is a brand.
Yeah.
Like people literally go to movies because it's Christopher Nolan. You know, he is a brand in and of himself, basically. So, but
the Odyssey.
The Odyssey. Okay, thank you, Albert, and Ian. So yeah, I think Mr. Duck, it might be an issue for Fantastic Four. But hey, if both movies are good, maybe we might have like a Barbie Oppenheimer situation,
or even like how it was for like Wicked and Moana too.
Right. So if both of these movies are good and they're getting good word of mouth, I think they can both exist within the same space and do really well.
I'm wrong, but I mean, who even knows? Fantastic Four might be a flop as long as if it's not done well. I mean, I would hate to see that happen. But it looks really cool. I still want to see it, but you never know.
Oh, me too. I love the aesthetics and stuff, Pedro Pascal, I'm a big fan of Pedro. I like him a lot. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Ian Grimm homers the Odyssey for Universal. Get ready for that big Greek mythology ride at Universal. Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Mr. Ian Grimm. All right, we'll take a couple more, then we'll get out of here. Albert Rodriguez here says the Spider Boss is the lamest merch Avengers Campus came up. Yeah.
It really looks like something from KB Toys. It really does.
Just cheap. It's just too. It's like I feel like it's like Disney Junior Spider-Man, right? It just feels like very childish or something. I don't know. It's just not. Yeah, not great. Not great. I'm still salty about them not keeping John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Yeah. Interesting, Jay. I want to get you on. We got to talk about Marvel together, Jay Brad. I want to get you on the show. It'd be fun. Lucas and Disney says here, Christopher Nolan's working on the Odyssey starring Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Yep.
There you go, George.
Yep.
There.
I remember that Tom didn't even really know what the movie was about that he agreed to.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that Zendaya kind of like did all the strings on that one, and she's like, "Hey, we're gonna be in a movie together." Okay. Don't know what it is, but sure.
There we go. We got one last comment for the evening. We got Theme Park Horizons saying Greek mythology right at Universal. You say Lost Continent. Yeah.
Thank you, Horizons. I was literally just gonna say that they could even keep the overall extent. I don't know how long that they would wait to hold off on that because that was also going to be possibly rethemed to Zelda. But if the Odyssey is what, as Christopher Nolan always makes, you never know. They can
You never know.
and they don't have to touch Mythos.
Yeah, I unfortunately have never been to Mythos. I've never been to Universal or
When we go down next year, I'm making a reservation for all of us at Mythos because it is my favorite restaurant, honestly, on the entire Universal Orlando property.
I'm telling you, man, Universal has really impressed me lately. Ever since we went to HHN, and that was like my first time in like 20 something years or something. I don't know how long. It's been a long time. I had such a fun time at HHN out here in Hollywood. It changed everything for me. I'm just so like down for like everything Universal now. And I'm not even like what is it? Halloween guy. I don't care about Halloween. You know what I'm saying? And I loved that event. It was so much fun.
It really shows that Universal knows how to cater to those means to be met for those special events. And that's why I really wanted to go to Eve. I was so impressed with HHN and even Grinchmas that I'm like, oh man, if Abby and I's annual passes cover Eve, it's like, let's go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Lucas here says George going to declare war against Universal if they remove Mythos to some Pokemon center.
Oh yeah, man, like they can do whatever they want to Islands of Adventure, but don't touch my Mythos.
Right. And Tim here says, OG, you will get a new appreciation for Universal when you go to Universal Orlando. Yes, I think I will. We're doing in September, we're going out there. And we're gonna hit up Epic Universe, all that good stuff, Tim. So I think it's gonna be pretty awesome, dude. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I've only done Orlando once, and when we went the last time, I didn't go to the Universal parks. So this time around, I'm making a point to do it.
You were also battling a head injury too, so you know, this time will be a little bit more different.
Tim, we landed at Orlando International, and I freaking slip on the wet floor. I cracked my head open. Barely just got to Florida, okay? And I cracked my head open, and I had to get taken to the hospital. I had 5 stitches, the whole thing. So yeah, it was a huge mess. But Universal Orlando, definitely this upcoming September. So I'll be there. Absolutely. And Cassandra says that she's still sad we don't have footage of OG going through the mazes. Yeah.
Cassandra, I wish, and see, now we know what to expect.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, the one moment when OG and this kind of goblin-like creature, before we actually walked in, it was like right at the outside of the entranceway.
Yeah, that's funny.
As you're walking in through the right side, he jumps out, and OG didn't like see him right away. So like as he turned, and then OG's just standing there screaming, and he's not moving. He's just standing there screaming. So the dude just like, I'll just keep going. Like,
and the dude was just screaming at me. We were just sitting there screaming at each other. It was hilarious. It was so funny. Yeah, exactly, Abby. It was like 5 minutes of just screaming at each other. It was so freaking funny. It was amazing. Horizons, y'all think HHN Hollywood's good? Come to Orlando. Yes. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for September. And it's interesting too with Epic Universe. The stuff that Dark Universe wasn't really on my list when they announced the park. And now it's like my top thing. Like I'm so stoked for Dark Universe. And they had, I think, was it Bio Reconstruct? George, in the comments, let me know if I think it was Bio Reconstruct who got video of the windmill on fire at night.
I think it was him.
And it looks incredible, dude.
For me, excuse me. For me, Universal Hollywood, I have a high respect for because it is the actual studio that literally started it all.
Right.
You know, and you have the traditional tram tour that takes you through all these iconic moments throughout film history and everything. So it has a special place. It's very different. With Universal Orlando, it actually feels like a vacation destination where it's like you're there to have fun and ride the movies and all that good stuff.
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait. Can't wait. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Abby, Tim, Lucas, Cassandra, Sam Chat, Ian, Albert Rodriguez, Mr. Tones Poppy from Bad Thought Studio, Jay Brad, Cassandra, Remy, Dragon Blood, and I'm probably missing somebody. I do apologize, but thank you, Googamp, Kev, Mr. Tech Bear, everybody who joined us
Sam
tonight.
Chat, Remy D.
Sam Chat. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Mr. Italiano, if you could let everybody home know where they can find you on social media, sir. And actually, everybody, take a screenshot. George just shaved. By tomorrow morning, he'll have a full-grown beard. This guy is just a beast with the beard. Go ahead, George.
It's crazy. I actually injured myself. I actually cut myself underneath my nail on one of my whiskers. That's like how they're like razor blades.
That's funny. That's funny. Go ahead, Italiano. Where can they find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Thank you so much, George. Thank you all at home for watching. Always a good time. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Just spend it with people you love and care about. That's all that really matters. That's what this is all about. So thank you all so much for watching this episode of OG55. George and I will be here all night. Tip your waitresses. No, we'll be here. We'll be here doing more content all week. So check it out. Thank you so much for watching. And until the next time, have a great night, everybody.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.